Hi everyone, it's Rachel Mascord, dentist from Sydney. And what I want to talk to you about today is a very, very common problem, which is how on earth do you get your kids to brush their teeth? It's a big problem, and parents have been asking me for advice for many, many years now. And it's tricky, but there are things that you can do to help your children. Now, for some reason, kids can hit a point in their mid-primary years, and it can go through high school, and in some cases it can even go through until people are in their 20s and sometimes their 30s, where they just do not want to brush their teeth and they will not brush their teeth. Kids can get very clever about this too. They can put some toothpaste in their mouth, which makes their breath a bit minty, but they don't actually pick the toothbrush up. Now, savvy parents will go and check the brush as well as not just smelling the breath, and they'll notice that the brush is dry, but then kids can cotton onto that one and they put the brush under the tap. So sometimes it turns into a matter of sort of overseeing the operation, and but it creates a lot of hardship and tension, particularly just before bed, which is the last time you want to be having a big fight, if you want to even be having big fights at all. Now, what I often find is people will come to me and they'll say, you make them brush their teeth. Well, guys, I can't. I can talk to kids, I can suggest to them, I can give them ideas, I can show them how to brush, how to make it fun and light. But unless you want me to move in with you, I can't actually force them to do anything. Now, the other thing that sometimes people want and expect me to do is deliver threats. If you don't brush your teeth, then this will happen. Well, I don't know about you, but threats don't work for me. They don't work sustainably. I might behave myself for a short period of time, but threats kind of motivate you from completely the wrong angle, and you can't even call it motivation. You're doing it because you don't want something bad to happen. Well, that's not building a relationship with your mouth, and it's not building a relationship with your health. So what I would suggest is we look at this from a completely fresh angle. And if you need an example of why I'm saying what I'm saying, just think about cigarette packets. If you consider cigarette packs and the fact that they've had pictures of missing limbs and pictures of mouth cancer and pictures of gum disease all plastered all over them now for I don't know how many years, is it a decade, something like that, people still smoke. So we really need to look at the threat approach and reconsider it. And if you come to me and you want me to threaten your child, I'm not the right dentist for that. So this is not going to make me popular. But what I suggest to anyone whose child is putting up a fight about brushing, stop and have a look at your own oral health routine. Because very often what I find is when kids aren't brushing, sometimes the parents aren't brushing all that well either. And so what we're trying to do is make them do what we're not doing. Kids know that. They can pick us a mile away when we're saying one thing, but we're doing something else. So if your kids aren't brushing, stop, take a moment and look at your oral health routine. If you can honestly do that and say, no, actually, I'm a great brusher, I'm a great flosser, I care about my teeth, I look after them. My next question is, do your kids know that? So very often what we do is we put the kids to bed well before we go to bed. So you might sit up and do your brushing and flossing 2 or 3 hours later after the kids are well and truly asleep. They don't know what you're doing. They don't get to see what you're doing. So one of the things that I suggest that people do is make oral hygiene a family thing. Do it together. Now there's an interesting side effect or payoff to this, if you want to call it that. So what often happens is when you are brushing with your kids and you're all piled into the bathroom together, you will actually do a better job of cleaning because suddenly you're the role model and they're watching you. And then you start to observe yourself and go, well, I need to really show the kids how to do this properly. So what I often find is when people do that, their oral hygiene improves because they become the example. And on top of that, it's so much lovelier to spend time together as in the evening as a family, being together rather than being instructional, telling them what to do and giving them orders. Remember, kids see through orders. They're very clear about when we're saying one thing and we're not quite matching it with our actions. Now, I'm sharing this from personal experience. When I was a kid, I grew up in the suburbs of Sydney in a tiny, tiny house with a little bathroom. And we would often, more often than not, brush our teeth together. And I think back and I just go, it's kind of mad because there was no room. There were three of us, my mum and dad and me, fighting over this little basin to try and have space to clean our teeth. But I tell you what, it set me up for a lifetime of brushing well and flossing well. I will not go to bed without brushing my teeth and doing a really good job of it. So that's my tip. That's bring it together and do your brushing together. You will be amazed how much lovelier it is in the evening, how much less tension there is because you're actually doing the activity together. By the way, if you brush your teeth earlier in the evening, you're less likely to snack, which is always a good thing. Anything that helps us reduce snacking is a winner. And it'll actually build a much nicer rhythm for the kids to settle down and go to bed because they get to be with you for about 5 minutes in the bathroom. Now, if it doesn't work straight out, don't give up. Don't do it once or twice and then go, oh, that didn't work. Look, these things require a bit of persistence and the kids need to get used to a different way of you approaching things. But the benefits to the family are part of it, and the benefits to your oral health are also very, very huge. And so it's really worth trying. So if you want to give this a go, please let me know how it works for you in the comments underneath. Anyway, it's lovely to be on video again. I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.